So, um, almost ready. So, 7 o'clock. Hello and welcome. Let me get to the right screen. So, hello and welcome. Thanks for coming. If you're here, if you're watching this afterwards, thanks for not coming and watching, I guess. Actually, you know what? This is kind of my first live stream on Vimeo Live. So I'm going to be looking over there because I've got a second screen with a bunch of stuff in there. Um, if you're watching now, let me know where you're watching from. It'd be good to know. And I'm going to open up my Safari to go through a few things. Now, basically, I wanted to do this live stream because we know that there's problems with Zoom, or have been problems with Zoom for a while, and they did actually patch a lot of things. I think it was early this year where there was a problem with them installing a server on a Mac. I'm not going to go into the technical details and stuff. And everyone in the security realm were basically peeved off about it. And rightfully so, because if they're installing something on your computer server-wise where they're logging certain pieces of information, they should basically tell you why they're doing it and what's going on. And so a lot of people stopped using Zoom back then, and there's a period back then where I wasn't actually using Zoom, and I started using FaceTime and so on, and that was good enough. The thing is, there's so many companies now, you've got to be so vigilant as to who's using the data that you're giving them, what's happening, etc. Sorry, I'm just going to look over here quickly. And we're never told. The thing with me is that I can't say I'm on top of it all the time. I'm on top of my news feed on Twitter and LinkedIn and certain RSS feeds and so on, newsletters. So I kind of keep on top of it that way. And, people like Facebook, who are basically totally scamming you if you are using Facebook. I haven't used Facebook since 2012, maybe 13. I don't use any of their services. I got to say, I do have a Mac Junkie account because obviously that's my trade name and I don't want anyone to use it. So I create these accounts so I can keep those names, but I don't use it. It's not on my phone or anything. And getting back to Zoom, Zoom is kind of getting to a stage where it's starting to collect data that it doesn't need to. It's starting to work with governments to give them data. And I just feel a bit icky about it, and I'm not happy with it. And even before this, for a few months, I've been looking for another way to do my video calls. Now, I was basically reverting back to FaceTime because FaceTime works, and I'm a Mac junkie and I use Apple products. So there's no reason why I didn't use FaceTime. The problem is the work that I do, I need to have remote control access, and that sounds really icky in itself, when I'm doing coaching. So if I'm coaching somebody and I'm helping somebody, live on air, basically, live on a one-to-one coaching call, they want me to help them with certain things. Now, I could revert to things like TeamViewer, Remotics, and stuff like that, but that's yet another hurdle that the client has to install, basically. So having Zoom that does remote control is really freaking handy, but I want to stop using Zoom. Now, some people are basically saying, well, why Zoom, etc. Well, the Chinese government, I'm reading my screen. Let me see if I can show you my screen. The Chinese government are basically interfering with Zoom, as you can see here. Let me get this here. So I'll give, let me see if I can put this in the chat. Let me put it into this chat here. And let me put it also into this chat here as well. So going back to this, basically what's happening is that Zoom are working closely with the Chinese government and getting the Chinese government to eavesdrop or drop the calls while on some highbrow executives in the US, in this article anyway, are actually, you know, doing a call. Now, obviously, I'm no highbrow. We're no highbrow. We're not doing anything that we're trying to hide. But I still feel a little icky about this, and I'm not prepared to have my information used in any way. So there's no reason to use a service in, for instance, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Google. I don't use any Google products other than my YouTube channel, and I only use Google for YouTube. I don't have any data on there or anything. So if I feel that a company is a bit icky, I kind of want to find another service to use. Now, I've been looking at Whereby, which used to be called Appear In, and that's actually a really good, let me see if I can show you this. This is Whereby, and you know what, let me show you their website because I logged in. And it's, you know, it's great. It works via the web browser. It works really nicely. I love it. They have an iPhone app. The problem is I haven't been able to use this properly with my clients as the remote support. Because it's browser based, you have to use Google Chrome. Again, I don't use Google products, and I don't expect my clients to use Google products. Yes, you could probably do it in Brave, but it doesn't work so well. And it doesn't work great with Safari. I'm a Mac junkie. I'm an Apple guy. So this doesn't work too well. And I don't believe it does remote support either. It does do recording, which is very handy for coaching calls. But again, with the recording, it's a weird ass format. You've got to convert it via a converting program into a movie or a MPEG-4. So really strange. But the app is great. The company is great. Support is great. But it just doesn't fit how I could use it. Again, I thought about going to FaceTime and then using something else for the remote support stuff. But then I thought, you know what, again, I don't want my clients to go through hoops for me to help them. I just want one app to go through, and that's why I basically use Zoom. So let me show you an app that I have found, and now they're not in beta, but it's invitation only. Luckily, I was invited to check them out. And so far, so good. There are certain things it doesn't do. They do have a roadmap, and they are working on it. So there are certain things that, for instance, it doesn't do recording, although that's coming. It's kind of annoying, but I figured out a way of actually how to do that recording. I'm going to go through some of this. It doesn't work with Calendly, but again, I found a way of going around this. The thing with technology is you've got to find the lesser of the evil. And then you've got to find a way to kind of not shoehorn it, but kind of make it work within your workflow. So anyway, let's go to Around. Now, this is the app. This is the website of the app. I love the website. It's so freaking simple. And as you know, me and Mac Junkie, I like simplicity and so on. So this really, it's a great app. So if you haven't signed up, sign up. Um, they'll invite you in there. And how it works, whereas Zoom has, a big window with everyone within that window, how Around works is that you have these kind of hover cards. Let me turn this on, right? So you have these kind of hover cards, basically, hover faces. And it can also track your face so you're always in frame, which is really, really nice. It does a lot of AI audio enhancement, which is really cool. So if there's a team of you in the same room, basically, it will cancel out everybody else's voice and keep your voice. It basically keeps your voice so it doesn't feedback. It kind of cancels it out. It's really clever because I tested it with a friend of mine. So yeah, it has these kind of hover round faces, so you can still work on showing your screen without having a big window in it, which is really cool. This is the famous BBC News. It's hilarious. This is the noise issue, silencing the disruptions. There is obviously an iPhone app coming out, which I'm really looking forward to. And anyway, this is their website. So this is what a Zoom would traditionally look like this. This is too much information that you don't need to see. And this is basically what Around looks like. You just see the person. Sometimes you want to see the background. There are certain reasons you want to do that. But if you're doing a face-to-face call, you don't necessarily need to see everyone's background, right? So for me, actually, it works out really well. It has Slack, et cetera, et cetera. And this is what I like. You have a meeting room. So for Teams, this is indispensable. For me, it wouldn't work so well. But literally, you have a link, and then you basically go into the room. And that works the same as, I don't know what Google call their services now. Is it Google Meet, Google Hangout, whatever, Google something? But, Google has that link as well. So this is the website. Go and check it out. Download it. Get started. Put your email address in, and hopefully you'll get an invite to it. Now, I'm going to show you my Around app. Now, the person who you're calling with doesn't, just like Zoom, they don't need an account. They will need the Around app to be installed. Now, the thing I really like about the Around app is that you're not actually installing an app. Sometimes you have to use an installer to install an app. This basically is an application that you launch. So there's no installing of anything. It's literally a DMG, a virtual hard drive. You copy it onto your hard drive into the applications folder, and off you go. What they've just recently added is this Meet Later. So when you click it, it creates a random meeting ID. And then people can basically go into that ID. So if I click here, where it is? No, I don't want to do that. Join a meeting. There we go. So you can just paste that in, and that's a meeting ID. And then you can just go and join that meeting. I wonder if someone's going to copy that and call me. I don't know if it will work while I'm live streaming. It might go really slow. Okay, well, this is my... Actually, this is my FaceTime camera. So if you notice, actually, I know I turned that off, but you can get that to track your face. So now I can just put this in the corner and show my screen. So I'm on a call with a client and showing my screen this way. You can actually just basically share the screen. But if I'm in that corner and I'm, want to talk to the client, I can just do, I mean, it's just so much simpler, so much cleaner. I really like it. And everything just kind of goes out of the way. You can make this as big as you want. Basically, like this, put it here. There you go, goes away. There again. Has these little colors, which is kind of cool. I like it. It also has the generic, hey, I have a question. Hey, that's pretty cool. I don't know, what, goodbye? Is that a goodbye? I don't know. That's kind of handy. And I think the last one is, something like that. You can actually type stuff in, which is kind of nice. Now, this is called the floating mode. You do actually have the generic campfire mode, so you can see these circles. You can actually add, when people are in the call, you can actually add them here. Now, this is really cool. If you're in a team and you take notes, you actually have notes, a notes section. So if you're on a call with someone, they can test note. They can write in the same document, in this window at the same time, which actually is really, really clever. And as you notice, there's formatting as well, so you can format it, which is really nice. Quote, format, so on and so forth. Really simple, to the point, especially if you're doing meetings. So for meeting notes, it's great. Image sharing, kind of handy. It's literally, you just drag and drop an image. I mean, this obviously is for, designers, I guess, if they're working within a team, which is really cool. And obviously the sharing of the screen. Now, when you share your screen, you have, the button kind of changes into a remote control, remote access. I can't remember what it's called, but kind of a remote access to view. Oh, what's happened there? Where did I go? Get back to my around. This is the call. Get back to this. Right. So you can basically control the remote computer that the person that you're speaking with, which is really handy. Copy the meeting note, and then you have all of these functions, which they're keyboard shortcuts to actually do those things. I really like this. There's, as I said, the lesser of the evil. So I have Calendly. People book calls with me, and everything is basically is automated and goes through Calendly, and I don't have to do anything. For the moment, with this, what I'd have to do is create a meeting code. When I get the Calendly invite, I create a meeting code, and I just send an invite. And actually, it happened twice today. I sent an email back to the client. Thanks for booking the call with me. Here's the link to. In fact, let me show you. Let me show you Calendly instead of just talking about it in this way, and then you will see what I've done. This is too big, so let me make this a bit smaller. So for instance, if you book an introductory call, one of the emails, the email confirmation, what I've done is basically written this. 3 easy steps, and this is what you have. If you're running, I'm not even showing you my screen, I'm sorry. Here's Calendly. So when you are when you get a Calendly call, I usually email them and say, thanks for the call, etc. And I would then send the private meeting code, and that's what step 3 is. Use the step 3. I send them a code once I've created it so they can get in. Now, when, pretty much everyone has Zoom set up on their computer. But when people didn't have Zoom set up on the computer, they would have to do this anyway, right? Download the Zoom app. Make sure you do it before the call. Click here to download the Zoom app, for instance. Launch the app and allow the microphone and camera. Now, this is the beauty thing about Around, actually. They make this so much easier, because when you launch the app, it will say to you, we need your microphone and camera. Now, all other apps actually do it, but with Around, they've actually given instructions as to the reasons why they're doing it and why you need it, which is really handy in a lot of cases. And again, you would need the meeting code from Zoom. So there's no real difference between having these three steps in any app, in fact, not just Around, but pretty much in any app. And this is what I write to my, as an this is what I send as my Calendly confirmation, basically. And then I will follow up with an email. So again, tools, it's like you've got to use the lesser evil of the tools. I talk about this all the time. You've got to marry the person who annoys you the least. That's the running joke when you get married. You got to have your best friend that annoys you the least, whatever. You have to run the apps that annoy you the least. And yes, there are annoyances with this, but with my workflow, and I know that it's on the roadmap and it's coming, but I rather deal with these issues than have a company that's really quite big. And to be honest, from the news that I've been getting and or I've been seeing, something that I just don't want to be part of. I don't want to be part of any company or business that that I can do without. There are some companies that are totally evil, and you just can't do without. Unfortunately, you can lessen the impact of it, but you can't do without. I mean, Facebook is the biggest in my eyes. I have nothing to do with Facebook. In fact, if I click a link and I realize it's a Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp type page, anything to do with Facebook, I clear my caches, quit the app. You don't need to restart your computer. I just completely trash everything, and then I run it again, because I just don't trust any of these companies with my data. And my data doesn't necessarily mean my photos or my name or whatever. My data means I don't want them to know where I'm going on the internet. I don't want to be tracked. And the Apple stuff are making it much easier. And Around is a small company. It sounds like an advert for Around, and it's not. It's supposed to be not to use Zoom. There are alternatives to Zoom. I just showed you whereby Around and so on. Let me see, but Around says it's invite only, and I need an notification code from a friend. Otherwise, early access. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Right now, it is beta only. Invite only. I'm hoping that they'll open it up quite soon, but I'm not sure when they'll open it up. Luckily, I got in early. I tweeted. Someone saw it and said, "Okay, here's an invite." So that's kind of handy. So yeah, that's the annoying part. It's a new thing, I guess. It's just completely new. But again, you don't need an account if you're just on a call. So for instance, I have an account, and if I ask someone to hop on a call, they don't need to have an account. They just download the app and install it. So yeah, so hopefully they will open it up. Let me see, are there any other questions here? Let me see, no other questions. Yeah, early access. Yeah, unfortunately it's early access right now, which is a shame, but I guess they have to do it. It does get annoying after a while when companies start saying, early access only, blah, blah, blah. It's annoying, but I guess they have to test it. But I just wish they could do it in a different way. But right now, it's, early access. But again, the whole point of this isn't necessarily Around. The whole point of this is there are alternatives to Zoom. I mean, you can use Signal, for instance. You can use Telegram, for instance, to do video calls. I mean, for goodness sake, you can use FaceTime. I trust FaceTime way more than I trust Zoom. I trust Signal way more than I trust iMessage, whatever it's called. So it depends on what you want to use. If you're using WhatsApp for any kind of communication, I don't want to be your friend, because I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to use WhatsApp at all. So yeah. Do you guys use WhatsApp? Do you still use WhatsApp? Is there a reason why you use WhatsApp? I know the reasons. A lot of my clients say, well, it's a family thing and I need to use it. Personally, I don't think that's a good enough reason, but I get it. I understand it, but I don't think it's a good enough reason. Let me see what else is going on here. So yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Down below, if you're watching this on my website, macjunkie.com/live, down below there is a link to send me a message if you have any questions after the stream. I'm going to close it out there. Thanks for coming. This is pretty much a short. Have you tried Jitsi Meet? Yeah, I have. But I don't think that is a great service. Let me see. I remember. I have tried this, and I just think it's a bit too technical for my clients, for the way I work with my clients. The point is to have the least amount of friction ever. The least amount of friction. Doesn't matter how much it costs. The least amount of friction. Hey, Dominic, thanks, man. Yeah, I didn't want this to be a review, but hey, there you go. The point is to have the least amount of friction with your tools, with your clients, the way you communicate with your coaching clients or clients in general. And I mean, the reason why I use Vimeo more so than YouTube to do my live, I paid for Vimeo. Actually, I paid for it today. Upgraded it again today. It's because I wanted it to look nice. I wanted the user experience to be better than everything else. If you go to if you go to YouTube, it's a complete mess. You want to focus on, so going to macjunkie.com/live, it's just simple. So the point is to have the least amount of friction with all of your tools. And yes, Dominic, around is actually quite nice. I really like it. I like the simplicity of it. It's the whole point of what tech minimalism is and what MacJunkie does and what I do, is to have the least amount of friction with you and your client, you and the person you're speaking with, you and your tools. And if you're fighting with your tools, you're not going to get anything done. Using it not so much for coaching though. Yeah, exactly. It is simpler than Zoom, actually, that one. It is, definitely. Zoom is a bit bloated. And in fact, I decided yesterday that tomorrow I have a Zoom call, and it will be my last Zoom call. I paid for the year. I think it was June, but I don't think I'll be using Zoom again after tomorrow. And luckily I have around Dominic, if you're there and you have some invites you could send me that I could pass around, that would be great. So as I said, it is invite only, but it's quite nice. I like it. Max, thank you for sharing. Good to know there are alternatives there, and always appreciate straightforwardness and honesty. Thanks, Max. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I did a coaching call on my phone while I was walking my dog because I was somewhere, and I did it on FaceTime. You're just talking. There's so many of these tools. You don't need, you just don't need the friction of these tools. And Zoom is just too bloated. There's a lot of tools that are just way over bloated for their own good, to be honest. Yeah. If you can find a simple tool, you find the easiest tool to make your life easier and your teammate or client's life easier, the better it is. Keep it simple. That's the thing. Keep it simple. IT. Yeah. Let me just put, I think it's around.co. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. That's the Around, if you need to have a look at their website. Let me see if there is anyone talking on any. See, right, here's the complication. I used to use Restream to stream from my computer to YouTube and Periscope, blah, blah, blah. And not many people use it. Not many people use these other platforms. Twitch is really a gaming platform. Not many people use it. YouTube, I really want to stop using. So I just thought, you know what? Make it simple for everyone. Just put it on my website. Hence, I went to Vimeo, and that was it. I can't see anyone on YouTube. Or was I on the wrong page? No, yeah. There you go. Let's see if there are any other questions. Okay, guys, I'm going to close it out. Let me stop this Around call for some reason. Guys Around just tweeted me. They're all watching it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Again, this wasn't for you. But it was. It wasn't. This was actually to do with Zoom, as I said, that there are alternatives, and I found your product to be the better one for me. So I'm pleased about that, and yeah, I'm happy about it. Happy holidays. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, I'll close it out. If you have any questions, there'll be a link down below. I can't believe I even said that. If you're watching on my website, there's a link, and you could message me. You can tweet me as well at macjunkie.com. Happy holidays. You know what? I might even do it. I love this live stream stuff, so I might do it again. Hopefully it sounds good. Hopefully it looked good. Hopefully you got some benefit from it. I'll see you next time. Ciao.